Want to find women who are easy to connect with? Then definitely watch this video. Hi, it's Katya with Ask the Dating Coach, and today I'm going to be giving you my 5 tips on how you can find women who are easy, open, and available for connection. It can be super frustrating to walk up to a woman and get the cold shoulder or get rejected. It can be very defeating and often has a tendency to take you out of the game and not want to do that again for a very long while. And we definitely don't want that. Now, while every woman is not going to be available to talk to you, while every woman won't be interested in everyone because that's just how life works, there are certain cues and signals that you can look out for that will completely lower the chances of you walking up to a woman and getting the cold shoulder, and instead walk up to a woman who's smiling, available, and ready to talk to you. So definitely watch this video and let's go ahead and jump into the 5 steps. Tip number 1 is a woman who is smiling. This is a pretty natural thing to look for. Someone who's in a positive mood, someone who is open for connection is going to have a positive attitude and be in a positive state. If you've ever been pissed off, despairing, sad, or frustrated, those are probably not the moments where you most want to connect. Well, women are exactly the same way. They are open for connection when they are in a good mood. So definitely look for a woman who is smiling, has a pleasant expression on her face, who looks calm and relaxed. It is a marker that she's going to be much easier to connect with than walking up to a woman who is frowning, is sad, or is upset about something. Tip number 1 is a woman who is smiling. Tip number 2 is a woman who is open and available for communication. So what do I mean by this? Well, a woman who is actually standing still and who you can actually walk over to and talk to. If you see a woman who is in transit, like she's going somewhere, if you see a woman who is really focusing, like maybe you're at a coffee shop and you see a woman fervently typing on her computer, if you see a woman who is in the process of getting something done, she is going to be much more difficult to talk to because she's in transit, she's doing something, she's focusing on something. So it's going to be a lot easier if you find a woman who is still, who is not in the middle of a task, and who's actually open and available for communication. That way you won't be interrupting a woman right in the middle of something, which again can get a very negative reaction, because more than likely how she's going to feel when she gets interrupted is like, hey, can't you see I'm in the middle of something? If you've ever been interrupted, then you probably know how that feels. So definitely focus on looking for women who are open and available for communication. Tip number 3 is a woman who is looking up and looking around the room. This is a really big one, and this is a huge marker that a woman is going to be easy to connect with. The reason for this is because she's actually looking around the room to see who she can connect with. If you've ever seen a group of girls at a bar or a party or a club or even a coffee shop, they walk in and while they're talking to each other, they're not deeply engrossed in conversation. They're kind of connecting and then they're looking around. These are the types of women that are going to be most easy to approach because their body language is signaling that they actually want to be approached and that they want to meet new people. So if you ever see a group of girls or even a couple of girls who are up, they're not looking down at their phone, they're actually up and making eye contact with other people and looking around, then definitely approach those women because they're going to be a sure thing for someone who you can connect with. Tip number 4 is women who make eye contact with you. Okay, so I already said that tip number 3 is an important one. Tip number 4 is the number 1 thing that is going to communicate to you that a woman wants to connect with you. The reason I say this is because if a woman is actually taking the time to make eye contact with you, not only is she available for connection, she's actually interested in talking to you specifically. So definitely pay attention to this cue. If you notice that a woman at a coffee shop or at a bar and she's drinking her drink and she kind of looks up and gazes over at you and then quickly looks away and then she looks back at you, then you should definitely go ahead and go talk to her, because she is singling you out and basically communicating with her eyes that she's available and interested in you. Tip number 5 is a much more strategic tip. So while we were focusing on body language and what women are actually doing in the other 4 tips, this tip is a little bit more strategic. Tip number 5 is going to places where women are socializing. So actually being strategic about where you go to meet women. You know, it's not always the easiest thing to meet a woman at a coffee shop or a grocery store where you don't really know if women are there to connect. And sometimes, and very often, they're not there to connect with other people. But if you go to, for instance, an educational class like a cooking class, or if you take a personal growth seminar, or if you go to a dance class, or if you check out a meetup, those are really great places for you to meet women. These are places where women actually go to socialize. These are places where women are going to learn new things. And the chances of you getting into a conversation with a woman there are very high, because it's also going to communicate to a woman that you are like-minded, and that generates an instinctual and natural interest for women. So definitely get involved in your community, sign up for a cooking class, or take a class on some type of hobby or activity that you've always been interested in. These are really great places to meet women who are open and available for connection. All right, that is the 5 tips. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, this is Katya from Ask the Dating Coach, and I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.